Hi, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It's Nicola Flood, the Queen of Health, and I am joined by Christine Higgins today, who has a fantastic business. She's going to share all about spirituality and really just to share with you the whole concept of spirituality, spiritual wellness, and as women, how we can actually come out of our comfort zones. I think that's a big one for women, especially people that I've encountered and worked with, and just enjoy that whole spiritual path. So, Christine, you're so welcome.
Thank you.
And before we start, can you share with the audience just a little bit about yourself, your business, and what got you started in the whole spiritual realm?
So I'm Spiritual One's Christine. I'm 43 years of age, which I'm like, oh no. I have four children. I live in Ballybrack and I own Spiritual Wellness Christine, which is what am I? So I'm a motivational speaker and events coordinator. I guess you could say I'm more known for the Full Moon Healing Circle, a charity event on Killiney Beach, which draws around 2,000 people.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been particularly in the summertime. In the winter, they sort of seem to dribble a little bit.
Yeah.
But so what do I offer? I'm a Reiki master. I teach Reiki energy healing. I have a lovely healing room in Dunleary. And I'm also do events. So I do a lot of spiritual wellness events as well, which are very busy. I'm also a Kundalini activator. Those events are very, very busy as well. So yeah, I'm a busy woman.
Good. And it's really good to hear, when women are looking after themselves and they've turned their passion into their full-time role. But say some people are listening today, they're hearing the word spirituality, but sometimes people may think that we've joined a religious cult or something. Can you explain a little bit more about spiritual wellness?
So spirituality is a state of mind. That's pure and simple. To make it simple, a state of mind, a state of being, and how you are inside. It's more about aligning and feeling yourself be more balanced in order for you to make life decisions, business decisions, how you go about your day. We have this misconception of spirituality being religious or, as you said, a cult. But that's been ingrained to us for thousands of years of religion, which is man-made.
Mm,
Spirituality has been around since time has begun. And it's all what was around that time was connected to the lands, connected to the cosmos. As you can see, like Newgrange, they were connected to the solar energy from the
mm,
sun. In our pagans times, we had like women, just normal women who were very intuitive, very stepping into their powers, really believing in the energies around them, really connected to the land, and they were burnt to the stake. But hopefully, we've moved further on from then.
yeah.
Um, However, our environment and the way we live now has sort of broken away that trust in Mother Nature that we used to have.
Mm,
That healing and that connection to Mother Nature that we used to have, like our
yeah.
ancestors. Do you know what I mean? And they were
Mm,
carried down through cycles. So we've got moved so far away from that
yeah.
that we're now at an area where with COVID actually happened that woke up a lot of people,
Mm,
realized that they all flocked to the sea. They went out into the forest. We were
yeah.
intuitively being brought back to Mother Earth to be healed and to
Mm,
grow and to evolve. So yeah, we're now starting to slowly, the tables are turning where we're moving back into spirituality. Uh, we're not necessarily putting the mark of a man-made religion on it, but
mhm.
it is just a state of being, a way of being really connected to the energies within us and
Yeah.
around us.
Because even, as women, we've become so dis, organized, not even organized, but we're not actually in connection with our monthly cycle even. So
No.
that comes back to the moon and the cycles and
Yeah.
even, because only recently I've started to look at my own cycle and it's, the energy that you have at certain times when you don't. But this comes back to what you're talking about is that connection really, isn't it?
100%. So like it's 29.5 days is how long it takes grandmother moon to do a full moon
Mm,
cycle.
mm,
Our average as women, our average cycle is 29.5 days. And we would have the going inwards, hibernating hermit mode, while we're
Mhm.
bleeding. And then it's suddenly this new fresh energy coming in. Then there'd
Yeah.
be another change, just four stages to your menstrual cycle. And
Yeah.
that's just in the 29.5 days,
Mhm.
and on the average 29.5 days. And like the moon rotates around the earth like for 12 months of the year, but also moves every second day on average into a new astronomical sign. So,
Yeah.
it's constantly cycles, constantly moving.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
like when women are born and we mature into women, we then start that cycle constant.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's so interesting when you start really tracking your cycle and really getting to feel the energies. Yourself, some days you just don't want to move. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But we have been now, and we're in a society where we
Mhm.
have to keep moving. We have to get
Yeah.
out. The kids still need to go to school. We still have to make the lunches. I'm sorry, I hate making lunches. It just drives me bananas. It's like half an hour of your morning, you're just like, I friggin' hate these lunches.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, I love when summer comes around, because then I don't have to make the lunches.
Yeah.
But the we're so disconnected from
Mhm.
self. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We're so disconnected from grandmother
Mhm.
moon because
Yeah.
like women, our ancestors used to have ceremonies and blessings around
Mhm.
the cycle of the
Mhm.
moon and
Yeah.
really connecting to really understand. You see, there's a lot about interconnection. We understand the energies outside of us, we'll
Mhm.
understand the energies that are happening within us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it like,
no, it is.
yeah,
It's
just as
amazing.
women.
Yeah. And we've just really have lost that because of the busyness, the stresses of life, having a family, and we're on the go. What I find in clinic is the amount of women that come to me that their cycles are messed up or they've hit
Yeah.
burnout. And there's a whole picture, but yeah, connecting back to there's one thing I don't know whether you've heard of it is the seed cycle. And what as a nutritionist, we'd sometimes bring in different seeds at different times
Yeah.
of the month, and it can bring back a woman's monthly cycle.
Wow.
But it's really just making her ground and connecting with that. Yeah, they say sometimes, they say the madness happens with the full moon, but again, that's back to
Well,
spirituality and
yeah,
connection.
100%, particularly in nursing homes, the nurses are always
Yeah,
saying it's a full moon, they're all going crazy.
yeah, yeah,
Like us women, we go crazy, but we don't
yeah,
really say it out loud, do we? Like we have
yeah,
those days where we just want to just blow the lid, you
yeah.
know. Um,
So we all
and
have
that's
we
okay.
have it inside that we know, but we just think, oh, that's just an old wives' tale or whatever. But not, it's been passed down from centuries,
Yeah.
and we've just become so, as you said, disconnected. But you recently left a full-time job to do what you are passionate about. Is that right?
Yeah, I did. So this journey has been like a lot of people say, I want to make these changes and I want to do them tomorrow. And I'm
Mm,
like, no, right? You need to get your ducks all lined up in a row, but you also need to be energetically at a place where you are very balanced and you're aligned to make these decisions. And I'll
yeah.
tell you why. I have worked in a university for 20 years. Back in the year 2010, I took a career break for 5 years. And I started actually a makeup business, a special effects distribution
Oh, fantastic.
makeup business. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I loved it. And it was the most amazing business, the perfect business, but it was the wrong time for me.
Okay.
So the reason why it was the wrong time for me, because I had a manic depression and a schizophrenia dad, and I had to grow up with him, and we didn't have a father-daughter relationship. Of
Mm,
course, Christine's going along with life, pretending everything is fine and wearing all the masks,
mm,
and repressing all the emotions that come with
okay.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. Then Christine moves into being a mother.
Mm,
And then I have a 10-year gap between my eldest and then the next one, the second one. So in the 5 years that I was working my business, I had three kids under 5. Okay.
okay.
Then I was dealing with a little moody teenager. She's not
Right.
moody anymore, thank God. She's 23. Um, and then my dad died in the middle of those 5 years. And suddenly all the emotions that I were like I had hidden, I had ran away from, came bubbling up to the
Mm,
surface. And I'll describe the old unhealed version of Christine. I was a people pleaser. I had a very deep rooted response to trauma where I thought my validation, my love was outside the family home. So
Okay.
my friends were my savior.
Hmm.
I would bend over backwards for them. I had the fear of abandonment if I fell out with one of them.
Yeah.
I would dim my light around them so
Mm.
they would accept me. I really never communicated or expressed how I really felt. Like even if I wanted to say no to someone, I could not say no to someone for fear of them not liking me.
Okay.
I was suffering from anxiety. I had panic attacks. On the outside though,
Mm.
Christine looked like she was winning it. I came runner up in small business awards in the Wicklow Chambers of Commerce. I was in newspapers getting interviewed. On the outside, I looked amazing.
Mm.
But I always have said we may be on this path on this earth and we're pushing against the grain, going, this is where we're supposed to be. This is where I'm going. This is my plan. But if you're not operating from a place of alignment and balance, and if you're not working your soul purpose,
Yeah.
your guides or the universe or source, whatever it is in your mind, is
Hmm.
going to come in and pull that rug from underneath you
Okay.
and try and get your attention for you to make the life changes and both internally within you and
Yeah.
also in your environment
Okay.
for
Yeah.
you to step on your soul purpose.
Right.
Like I had a motivational speak there session there with a load of women, and I said, put up your
Mm.
hand who has gone through an experience where they were running on empty and then something happened where you had to literally sit up and listen and go, oh God, I have to do some major changes here.
Yeah.
Someone has had a life experience, a
Hmm.
traumatic experience, or something that has
Yeah.
literally sent them, they're on the floor. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're in
Yeah.
shock on what the hell, but
Hmm.
they know deep down they to make the life changes.
Yeah. Yeah.
My my moment, my spirit guides are quite, what would you say? Well, in fairness, I do have a habit of not listening. So they have to go to extremes.
Okay.
I was pregnant on my fourth child. I was again from panic attacks.
Mm.
I just wanted to career into a wall on the way home from school or work just to have a break in the hospital. Like how sad is
Yeah.
that? Like, do you know what I mean? But I couldn't have a day off.
Yeah.
Um, but I was pregnant with my fourth. I had really high blood pressure.
Mm.
I the doctors were like really worried about me, and they sent me actually up to the mental health unit on top of Hollis Street to be assessed,
Wow.
because they were really worried about my mental health. And
Mm.
I have to say, I don't know if any of your listeners have ever had to walk up to the top floor of Hollis Street where the unit is, but
Mm.
every step I was walking up, I was like, I think I'm going to be turning into my dad. He has manic
Okay.
depression, schizophrenia. Am I
Yeah.
going to be like my dad?
Hmm.
And then all them emotions came with it as well.
Yeah.
Luckily enough, in my situation, they made the diagnosis that I was just overwhelmed and that I
Okay.
had to make these changes. So I should have listened there,
Mm. Yeah.
but I didn't.
Okay.
So fast forward, the doctors decided to bring me in to be induced early, because they feared Lillian's health. So I was induced and everything was fine. And I
Mm.
got back to the ward, and didn't I hemorrhage, lose half my body weight in blood, and had to have two blood transfusions and wake up in
Wow.
ICU. A week before that happened, I was at an event and there was a medium there. And she turned
Mm.
around to me and she says, Christine, you're going to have a girl. And then suddenly there was this shadow came over her face, and I was like, oh, here we go. And she says, I was just like, oh shit, sorry. I was like, oh no. And she just says, your dad has got your back. And he
Wow.
was in the spirit world now. And I'm like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
So then fast forward, I wake up in ICU,
Mm.
and all I could feel was this deep feeling of peace and love.
Mm.
And straight away he came into my mind. And I was
Okay.
like, oh, this is what you mean by your dad's got your
Mm.
back.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So when the nurses
That's
came in, like
insane.
I was still a bit in shock going, did that actually happen? Do you know what I mean? And I
Mm.
said to the
Mm.
nurse, I said, and I'm quite a jokey person. So I always put a joke on everything. And
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus, what did you just do to me? Like, do you know what I mean? And the nurse was like, oh, Christine, you're lucky to be here. And I was like, really? Was
Wow.
it that bad? And they said, yeah, really, really, like you are lucky to be still alive. And you know what I did? I repressed that emotion. I was in the hospital for 4 days. I got out with my baby. And on the day I got out of hospital, I had to walk back into my office, had Lillian in the Moses basket, sat down at the desk and went, right, back to work.
Yeah.
Sure, there was no blood in my system. I was pure white. I was
Yeah. Yeah.
drained. I was, but I remember just sitting there, and I strongly believe our babies are brought into our lives for us to get a lesson from. Well, they always are. They're our teachers. But I
Yes.
strongly believe Lillian was brought into my life to help me heal.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
I looked
Yeah.
at her in the Moses basket, and I just went, what
Mm.
the hell am I doing? Why am I literally nearly killing myself?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I had the fear of failure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I had the fear of letting people down,
Yeah.
and the fear of just, I had put so much of my energy into this business that,
Mm.
like, I think it was more about not being successful because I was trying to bring everyone with me, because you have this vision,
Well,
particularly your
yeah.
husband and your children. They've made
Yeah.
so many sacrifices for you.
Mm-hmm.
You're always out working.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm going to have to turn around and say, I can't do this anymore. And
Yeah.
they've put so much like support and so much energy
Mm-hmm.
behind you to make this work. So there's that feeling of like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And I don't know if I'm going to let them down. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I just had to make a call there, and I said, I
Mm-hmm.
I need a break.
Yeah.
Luckily enough, my career break was coming to an end. So I was
Okay.
very lucky in a sense. And it sort of pushed me to make the decision. But the
Yeah.
mind loop I was in for
Mm-hmm.
months, thinking, do I go back to my job? Do I keep going with the makeup business? It was
Mm-hmm.
a mind loop that was 24/7. I was so lucky to even get to sleep before 3 o'clock or to sleep till 3 o'clock in the morning. I'd
Yeah.
fall asleep, no problem. But at 3 o'clock, I'd wake up and I would be, I used to say I'm haunting the house
Yeah. Yeah.
between three until the kids wake up, like 7 or 8,
Okay.
like, do you know what I mean?
Mm.
But it's actually turned out to be a good ending to the story. I started closing down the business, and I put up on my Facebook page, business page, I'm closing down my business. And two competitors rang me one after the other and offered to buy me,
Wow.
my business.
So you just decide to close the door, and it's amazing when you decide how
Yeah.
then it follows through. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So like the universe is like, okay, she's finally listening, we'll give her a gift,
Yeah. Yeah. Super.
you
And
know?
then it all just started to fall into place for you, which is amazing. And you mentioned about life purpose, right? So for anyone that's listening, even myself, you kind of go, right, I'm on this path and I'm doing what I think I'm meant to do. How do we know that we're actually on the right path, the life purpose path? Is there any signs we can look out for, or what can people know that they're aligned with that life
Yeah.
purpose? Not an easy question. That's, it's probably different for everybody, but
Oh, it totally is. It is different for everyone, but the main thing is bringing more stillness into your life.
okay.
Look at your environments and look at the actions that you're doing that are
Mhm.
low vibrational. So when I say low vibrational, I'm talking alcohol,
Mhm.
gossiping, and not eating healthy. That's where you come in.
Yeah.
Um, low vibration is like, you're not getting out into nature. You're not sleeping well. Um, you're just not speaking nice thoughts to yourself.
Yeah.
So it's very low vibrational. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
High vibrational is when you're out in Mother Earth. Mother Earth has been our healer, our
Mhm.
support, our shelter, our food supplier for thousands of years. Okay.
Okay.
But it's the that ideology is completely warped now because we go
Mhm.
to the shop and get our food. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean? So we've moved
Yes.
so far from how our ancestors used to live.
Yeah.
Um, so high vibrational food, high vibrational, like is Mother Earth, like root your feet into the earth. The earth is 7.38 hertz. Okay. It is a heart of the planet. We connect into the heart of the planet. We're getting our healing. We're grounding. We're earthing.
Mhm.
It's really like there's been so much research over earthing, grounding. It's
Yeah.
so beneficial to us. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just so important that we do
Yeah.
it every day.
Yeah, and just
You
for
think
people
about it.
that are just for
Yeah.
people that are listening, because again, it could be new for them too. It's that literally means taking your shoes, your socks off, and getting out into the back garden, getting down to the
Yeah.
beach. But even your back garden is cool to do, isn't it?
100% earth anywhere. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like a cup of tea in the mornings, out into the grass, out the back garden, out the front garden, and just walk around. My neighbors think I'm a little bit weird because I'm always out in my front garden just walking around. Like I had the other day, my neighbor was like drove in and to her drive, and she's looking at me, and I'm like that at the sun, like you know what I mean, staring up at the sun. She's like, "You okay? You locked out?" I said, "No, I'm just getting my solar energy
I
fixed."
love
Like she's just like,
it.
"Okay, weirdo," but they're used to me now. So high vibrational
Mm,
activities to
okay.
find that balance within you, particularly, I always say the environment that you find yourself
Mm,
in,
okay.
friends,
Yeah.
family, are
Mm,
you dimming your light to fit around them? Are you a people pleaser?
mm,
Do you feel celebrated rather than just tolerated?
yeah.
They're all low vibrational.
Mm,
Go and look at what feeds your soul,
yeah.
who celebrates you.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
put your energy into that area, those
yeah.
environments, because you're ultimately raising your vibration,
Yeah. And
and
it's amazing, sorry to cut in, but it's amazing
no
when you
problem.
do change those little things, how things around you start to change, your connection with friends, just different things. It's amazing. If you're willing to change, your outside is
Yeah,
going to change too.
100%. Like sea swimming as well. Like that has been life changing for me. Like
Mm,
that opened up a whole new like community for me. New friends. Like I was like back in the day. Like my time to myself, my gift to me was that bottle of wine on a Friday night after working. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Sure, you woke up dying on a Saturday, and
Yeah.
Saturday night comes. Oh, sure, I'll just have another like glass. And then you're
Yeah.
just in that cycle every
Yeah.
weekend, and like you're sitting there going. Right. Yeah, I did bring the
Mm,
kids to the playground on Saturday. We did meet family. We did all this.
yeah.
But where are you 100% feeling healthy?
Yeah. Yeah.
No matter what, you're a little bit narky, you're a little bit tired,
Mm,
you're just thinking of that couch going, I just want to chill. Do you know what I mean? By the end of the day.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
like that's low vibration, you know what I mean?
Mm, mm,
And sometimes we sort of like society has us conditioned that like alcohol is our present to us that we got through the week, and
yeah.
that has to change. And don't get me wrong, I'm very partial to a glass of wine. I love me wine every now and then, but I don't use it every week. To
Yeah.
me, every now and again, in
Yes.
in 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 small quantities, is
Yeah.
like a little, oh, it's party time. Do you know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
It's all about
Exactly.
balance.
It
It is
is.
all about
Yeah.
balance. Um,
100%. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, come on.
Okay. No,
I
and
lose my train of thought, and I'd sit here and waffle all
and
day.
it's great because we could be here for hours talking because it's so, again, it's a huge area. You could do a full lecture
Oh,
on this, and it's just amazing.
I
But
do actually.
amazing. Okay, I'm going to put all that, guys, in the description box. I'm going to get everything and pop it in so we can just click and see what Christine is up to. But just to finish off, what would be your top 3 tips for people listening that are kind of going, okay, I need to get aligned. I want to get on my spiritual wellness journey. What's the 3 things they can start with in 2024?
Get up 5 minutes early, light a candle, sit in the stillness, and just be.
Very simple.
Before the
Yeah.
house stirs, before anyone wakes up, to set that
Mm,
alarm clock a little bit more. And you know what? You're starting up your day on a whole different like level,
yeah.
and also then as we go through the day, if we feel ourselves we're too much in our head, or if we feel that we're getting a little bit stressed,
Hmm.
is just if you can't get out into the earth, or you can't get out into grass, if it's raining, or just literally stand, connect the soles of your feet to the ground, and just imagine roots coming out of the soles of your feet and burrowing into the center of the earth,
Yeah.
and just bring it down to grounding. Just imagine that energy flowing down from the top of your head, down into your feet, down through into the
Yeah.
soil, and just visualize that. That'll help you to overcome that. When you're in that fight or flight mode, you're running
Yeah.
around all day, you're stressed, and it just takes one thing for you to blow it.
Yeah.
Like you just
Yeah.
lose control. It's like, I didn't mean to shout at you. I'm really sorry. It's just,
Yeah.
but just stop.
Mm.
Feet, earth, roots, ground.
Amazing. Okay. So candles, or get up 5 minutes before everybody else, light a candle, ground ourselves. And what else? What's the last thing
And
you'd
just
say?
the last thing would be reflection.
Okay.
I think reflection is such a powerful tool because we're so busy going through life that we
Mm.
never actually stop and reflect and see what's draining us and what's feeding our soul.
Amazing. Okay, so guys, there's loads of takeaways from today's session. Christine, where can people find you if they want to reach out, find more? I'll put your links down below, but what's the best place to find you?
So I'm all over the shop. So I have my website, which is spiritualwellnesschristine.com. I have Instagram, which is Spiritual Wellness Christine. I also have Facebook, Spiritual Wellness Christine. I also have TikTok, Spiritual Wellness Chris. I couldn't fit the rest of it in.
Right.
And YouTube as well, Spiritual Wellness
Oh,
Christine.
brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm all over the place.
Great. So even if people Google Christine, they're going to find you. Spiritual Wellness by Christine. They're going to find you somewhere.
Yeah,
but we'll put
they'll
all the
find me
links
somewhere.
Yeah, we'll put all the links below. And Christine has some amazing seminars and workshops coming up in 2024. So it'll be really nice. And do you do online as well, Christine, as opposed to in person?
I have an online spiritual wellness community that we do lots of guided meditations. We have the Monday morning meditation. We have a healing breathwork and energy healing session online every Wednesday at 9 o'clock. We also have a full moon healing circle online and a new moon healing circle online. And I will be in person every month, which I have been for the last 2 years, on Killiney Beach every full moon. We do the full moon healing circle for charity, and it's all free, but we ask people to donate to Suicide or Survive. And amazing. I won an award for that one.
Oh, fantastic. That's amazing. Yeah, and it's great. I think it's like that. It's the energy of giving too, isn't it? Like what we give out comes back to us multiplied, and being able to do something like that is fantastic while you're healing as well. So guys, thank you for joining us today. Christine, thank you so much. That's just been amazing, and I think there's loads of takeaways for the audience today. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.